Hello again, everyone. So I've got a new update here. This is my environment that you've probably seen many times, my test environment anyway, and the idea is that it is from a pre-built level and a pre-built pack that was made and put up in the Unreal Marketplace. It was the horror game template, I think it was. I've been modifying it for quite some time, adding different things to it, getting inspiration from different games. I mentioned last time that I got inspiration from a little bit of Half-Life 2, a little bit of Bendy and the Ink Machine, and also now Resident Evil, the remake. And I mentioned last time that the AI was pretty dumb, but I wanted it to be similar to Mr.X in that it could operate via sound. As you can see, the rest of the test level is set out, so there are multiple rooms that you can go in and everything like that. Except this one room here where I've got all the props currently that I'm kind of adding in from one of the low poly packs. I'm still not sure of whether I want to go with this style for the end game or want to go a little bit more realistic, but it's good for placeholder at the moment. So the idea is that everything that I'm working on code-wise is in this room. And what's happened previously is I've not really played around with the AI too much. It had a simple code that I set up here. This is Unreal Blueprint, this is visual coding. The idea is that you set up a bunch of nodes and the AI does what it has to, or rather what it's programmed to do based on the coding. So, I'll go through this with you guys now. So, when the pawn, or the enemy AI as it is, because it's attached to the enemy AI, when the enemy AI hears something, it then moves itself to that location. That's all what that more or less corresponds to, just those three sections there. When it moves to that location, it delays for about 5 seconds. It then controls itself and says to itself, look, after 5 seconds are up, move to suspicious state. And the way that the AI states are controlled is using an AI controller and what they call a behavior tree, which I've never really used before. The AI controller here dictates each state and says, like, look, if you've heard something, give it a 50% chance that you'll actually pay attention to it. Now, if we go into the AI blueprint here, the way that this works is that it starts off and it branches out like a tree, and it takes each one of these sections and says, look, at the moment, I think this section of the tree is more important. So by default, it says, look, this section that's idle is more important. So what we'll do is we'll patrol. We'll wait for maybe 0.3 seconds. And then we'll just keep patrolling and we'll face a certain direction. And the patrol section says, walk at speed 150. Go to the nearest point. Then move to the next nearest point. And then go to idle. So it idles between these two. This was all set up already for me. Then what else was already set up was suspicion, which was set to wait 0.3 seconds, change your run speed instead of the 150 to 350, and move to the position that you heard the sound on. And then we've got searching, learn room, and hostile, which all cover the same type of thing, which are move to an area, learn the room, learn where the hiding spots are, and then have a quick look round. Wait for a little bit, see if the player's there. If the player's there, move towards them, and keep going until you run into them, at which point it game overs automatically. Or, if you don't find them, wait 3 seconds, and then return to search, which is the obvious one that we had before, where it just kind of patrols round. The idea is that if it finishes searching, doesn't find the player, then it goes back to patrol. But what I actually added on here, using its own logic and a little bit of my own from previous security work, was the little bits added onto the suspicion tree here, where originally it only had suspicion, wait, run speed, and unherded, which is amazing English for whoever wrote it. What happens is, after that, it waits for 5 seconds, then it searches, just searching around the area just to see if it can find the player. It changes its walk speed to 150, so it's slower when it's searching, so it's trying to be a little bit more methodical. It waits for 10 seconds, and then it goes back to patrol. So the idea now is that it takes its time, it searches around an area, it tries to find you, looks in different areas that are close to it that are designated by certain points, and then moves on. So, like, for instance, we have this AI class point, and I think we have another point that is somewhere around here that dictates that this is a key area where there are hiding points, so in here is not really safe for me. There we go, we've got hiding places at the back here. And we've got a sensor beep going on so I can hear the motion sensor outside. But each room, it normally has one of these extra AI class points in. And the idea of those is just to allow the AI to say, oh, I can go in here and I can search around. And then on the main area where it patrols, it should have patrol points. Yeah. So the idea is it has patrol points set up, it has class points set up. And between those two, it allows it to patrol this main corridor and then walk inside any more of these rooms just to see if there's anything in there when it hears anything. So if we click play now... Oof, that sound is too loud. So what used to happen is the AI used to immediately run over to something, say like a chair or one of these things, and then it would chase it round or it would stand on it. And it would, because the blueprint for these currently... these physics objects is set so that when it lands on the floor, every time it hits, it makes a sound, and the AI will get attracted to that. What happens is it would just run into it, and it would keep triggering the event, which would then keep it in one position, and it wouldn't actually move, or it would, if it found a chair, it would move the chair around in circles. So now, instead, it will just search. So, for instance, we've got him patrolling there. Let's see if we can get his attention with the box. Might have thrown it a little bit too far. I think we might have. Also, sorry for the sound effect again. It is a door closing sound that I had on. And keeps playing all the time because it's a placeholder I've got at the moment. So if we try throwing that Chinese box over there. And then closing the door. No. Let's try... one of these chairs. Can we grab a chair over here? Yeah. Now let's see if it makes it's making loads of sound because it hit the floor at a weird angle. So I think this might actually screw up his AI, I'm not sure. Oh, he's moved to it. Question is he patrolling? Looks like he is. So what we'll do is, we'll throw out another item here. We just need him to go past the motion sensor. Pick up the carton again. Throw it back at him. Oh, try and get in the security room quick. So the question is, did he hear that? Yes, he did. When you look at this top one. He pushed it around a little bit. Now he's searching. The idea is that he has to search the nearest place. He might bump into it again there. The idea is he then searches the nearest place, then goes back on patrol. So that's why he's setting off the motion sensor a lot. But now at least he's not sort of triggering it constantly. He might bump into it later on. That's something that I've yet to come to in terms of fixing all of this. But at least it's a good solution for the moment for making sure he doesn't chase everything around like a dog chasing cars. That was what was a problem with the previous build. I've not even bothered changing the build number or date on this at the moment, purely because I was waiting to see whether I could come up with a fix for this. It looks like this might be a good fix, because this allows him to then move in between rooms, similar to, say, Mr.X from Resident Evil. It allows him to move and patrol at the same time. I just now need him to patrol a little bit more randomly so that he can go in between areas at his own discretion, and also whenever he hears something. The idea is if a player knocks into something, opens a door, maybe turns on, say, something to distract him, or does something else, then what will happen is eventually he will go over to it, figure out whether he needs to stay there or not, and if not, he will return to patrolling. So the idea is then players can use objects and different things to interact with and distract him. As you can see, he's avoiding that now. I might actually make it so those items obstruct the nav mesh as well, so he can't actually go near them. That's going to be a good idea when they're on the floor, so he can't interact with them again. I'm going to have to set that up possibly for the next build, just to make sure he can't interact with anything when it's on the floor in that kind of position. Anyway, I hope this has been interesting for you guys. I hope it's shown you a little bit more about AI and how it works in Unreal, and hopefully I can get more of this done and continue with my project, because this is really cool at the moment. I just now need to figure out how to get him to go where I want him to, or at least randomize so it looks like he's exploring the environment. If I can get him to do that, then it'll be really good, because I'll be really far in terms of getting my project done, or rather getting this game done. The idea is that after I've got all the basics down, then I can work on the art assets, do all the objectives and everything, and then hopefully either release a demo build or just work on the full thing. So, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!